Welcome to Accessibility Plus 2021, the global conference, how businesses empower accessibility and why they should. I'm here today with David Adi, the co-founder and chief executive officer of Allyable. And I'm so grateful to have some time with you. I've had the opportunity to do some research on your company, and we're just so thrilled to have you here, one as a sponsor of the event, and to have an opportunity to speak with you about your organization and some of the great things you're doing. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I was hoping I could work in some questions with you today. David, welcome, first of all. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Kevin, for hosting me.
Yes, no, thank you. I'm sure that you get this question a lot, but I think it's really important given what we are discussing today. When we talk about businesses and accessibility and the importance, a lot of times people try to understand where accessibility is in the prioritization of their efforts. So how would you, if I'm a business owner, how would you prioritize accessibility and why?
This is a great question. Accessibility, from my point of view as a disabled person, I think is the top priority. It's the top priority because once businesses will realize that they have 20% of potential new customers that can join and be happy customers, satisfied customers that can use their services, their product, they will invest much more to make their digital assets in general accessible. And it's no matter if they are consumers or customers of them or employees that working in the organizations and need to produce more. And if you can hire people with special needs, you can actually help to the society from one hand, but from the second hand, you can actually leverage your power because people with special needs and older people are part of our society. And we need our duty to provide them equal access. And that's the priority that I see, except the fact that right now it's regulated. So the bonus is that you reduce your exposure to lawsuits. So if you combine it, how we can reduce our complexity, our cost, increase the efficiency of our teams, provide equal access to all in order to increase our bottom line. So I definitely will say, make it accessible.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about, and that's so true, and you talked about too, increasing the bottom line, and that has so much to do with how businesses are ranked and where they stand and how SEO works. I mean, how does accessibility have any effect on SEO ranking, in your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very well known that Google invest heavily in just last June to change their algorithm to say that usability equal accessibility. It can impact as you remember a few years back, it's not so long, but in tech, it's like ages. Google changed the algorithm to mobile first when the smartphones joined to the game. And some businesses that didn't do the adjustment been impacted dramatically by the search engine optimization rank. And the same story will happen with digital accessibility. If companies, businesses will not invest in their usability, it will impact their rank in Google. And some of them rely on the internet in order to sell online. I think the COVID-19 pandemic just emphasized that more and more people buy online, more businesses, if they not have the online store or the online appearance, can be gone or disappeared. And if they will not invest in that, they will actually losing the potential to stay in top. And this is very important. And that's actually the main relation between search engine optimization rank and also digital accessibility.
So it sounds like then it has a significant impact, but I would ask though, what would you say the impact is for accessibility on an organization's bottom line?
So once you have more visitors, unique visitors that come to your sites, and among them have every fifth person dealing with disability that prevent him to use the internet as intended, and you lose them because they arrive to your site, but they cannot do anything. So you're actually losing money. And if you're losing money, it's impact directly on your bottom line. That's the simple formula.
So So if so it has an impact on my bottom line. I want to resolve the accessibility issues that I have. Let's say I'm a business. I understand the impact of SEO. I understand that it has an impact on my bottom line. And I say, hey, I want to make this accessible. If I have an accessibility menu, is that enough to provide accessibility support?
That's one of the most common mistakes. Digital accessibility menu it's nice to add feature. It's not make your website accessible for sure. It's not change what you need to change on your websites, or your Google search engine optimizations will find you, or increase your rank. In addition to that, they have so many elements in the digital accessibility requirements and the guidelines that magic solution cannot exist. Meaning, if you will not fix these kind of problems, your websites will not be accessible. For instance, keyboard navigation. Keyboard navigation, some of the menus provide you the ability to navigate easily. However, how you can find all the keyboard navigation via technology, it's impossible, because some of the violations exist in the small details, and the small details, only a human eye can identify that. So why we're saying that, that's the fact that digital accessibility menu doesn't solve the problem. In addition to that, and this is a problem that seriously I'm taking personally. Imagine how many blind people exist out there that they telling you that you need to press the accessibility menu so your websites will become accessible. Does someone ask how they can find the menu? They don't see, or they have maybe visually impaired. They cannot find the accessibility menu. So how it will work? And this is a logic mistake that I'm sorry to say some vendors did because they want to save some money, but in the same time they did it, they actually out of compliance automatically, because the guidelines saying clearly you cannot provide an equal access by asking someone to do something that is different from any other's user. So I think this is something that people and organizations need to focus on and figure out why they pay for someone just for their menus. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it seems to be something that's pretty common. The impact it has on assistive technology is becoming more known. I mean, so if let's say we an organization, okay, we have a menu, but that's not enough. We want to be compliant. We go to look for a vendor. We want to do this fix. Is this a one-time fix, or how does this work? From a maintenance standpoint, from a remediation standpoint?
For sure, it's not one step. It's first it starts with the mindset. The mindset should be changed to design with accessibility in mind. And meaning, when you build a new web page, when you build a new digital asset, you need to think with accessibility in mind. And it's impact your developers, it's impact your designers, your testers, your product managers, actually all the organization. Once it's built properly, so yes, you're in better shape, but then you need to maintain it. Meaning, keep maintaining all the product all the time, because someone can change something on the sites, and digital usually change frequently, and you immediately out of compliance. As impact, you actually hit your potential customers, as we mentioned, also your brand and SEO, etc. So it's an ongoing process that need to start with the right mindset, design with accessibility in mind, and take it forward through all the journey. And it's a never-end story. You want, like, it's a never-end story to improve your business all the time. You always looking for a new horizon, a new success. Digital accessibility, it's exactly like that.
Oh, I completely agree. And this brings up another question for me. One of the barriers that I feel like I've encountered and heard a lot of folks encounter from IT teams when you're trying to implement accessibility initiatives is related to security. We talk about CAPTCHAs and different types of security concerns. Are there any privacy or security risks that you can face throughout this process?
Yeah, someone that for so many years in the digital accessibility industry, I noticed and I've been aware to businesses that look for the shortcut and they implement the widgets or digital accessibility menu in order to, they thought that it's make their website accessible, but in the same time, that it doesn't make it accessible as I described. In the same times, they actually open a big window for hackers. Some of them took control, changed the site, took advantage on the data. And this is a very, very big risk. I remember that in Washington in 2019, I spoke about it on other conference on the stage, and I explained you have so many risks when you implement the solution that it's not mature, it's not secure. It can impact your security from one hand, and how much money you pay for your security department just to be sure that nobody will hack you. But in the same time, you have a lot of private data, including private information about your consumers, about your customers, that using your product. I like to describe it. Imagine that you're in the healthcare industry and someone from your customers want to set appointment with this doctor. So he come to your website and he type his name, his details, his contact details, and he describe what he's dealing with in order to set the appointment with the right doctor. Some solution actually analyze this data. They actually damage your privacy. So you must be sure that you comply with GDPR and CCPA, and to be protected by the privacy compliance next to the security compliance that you must do to fit. How many pages have beyond permissions? That including your personal data from your bank, from your insurance company. Do you want that someone else, that it's third party, that some widget that located on your site will read this information and send it to third party that you don't know about? I think it's very dangerous. And I'm sure that organizations understand what I'm speaking about. So when you choose your vendor, please check that it's fully secure and it's compliant with the highest security certifications and also by the privacy certifications.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate it, Dave. And I really thank you for doing this. Those are great tips. And just very quickly before you go, if someone's interested in implementing accessibility initiative, they want to get in contact with Allyable, how would they do that?
So first, it's easy. We have a website. It's fully accessible, by the way. Also, we have the phone number and the emails and LinkedIn and any other channels. It's available. For us, it's allyable.com. This is our website. We will be happy to provide any experience and knowledge about digital accessibility in general. And if someone or some organization is looking for a solution or to speak with experts, we are the address.
Wow. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I encourage everyone to visit allyable.com to learn more about all the products and offerings they have. And David, again, I thank you so much for doing this. This has been a real treat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah, I'm stopping it.